I'm AC Dodd and this is Engine Club. Hi all again and welcome back to part 2 of episode 4 of Engine Club, where Kevin is continuing to strip down his gearbox. Right, so what you now need to do is to take out those two. Same tool, you might want to put the extension back on.
Yeah, that's fine.
That makes it so easy, doesn't it?
Oh. No messing around.
Right, so take the hammer and just give the mallet and just give that a bit of a tap just to break the seal on the gasket. Again, this is the factory non-centre oil pickup, so we can just pull it straight out, lift it straight up. That's it. We won't be using that.
Right.
We're going to have a centre oil pickup when that goes back in. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to start thinking about removing the gear parts now. So what we're going to do is turn this up on its end. Take the studs out the back, that's why I was doing that. Sorry. What we're now going to do is take the studs out at this end.
Well, do you know what, Aid? I've just done hold up, lads.
Yeah, I've had a better idea. Right, so this needs to be done manually, unfortunately.
Yep.
So using a proprietary stud extractor on a ratchet, just wind them out all the way on. That's it. That's it. Wind them out. You got it. Now what you can do when you do that is you can change over to a speed brace if you want. So I sometimes do that. Now a speed brace for you for the younger generation, I should say, the older generation who know what this is. This is what we used to use before we had nut guns.
Yeah.
So just break it.
Get started.
You're making this all cack-handed. Hang on. Now push down hard. There you go. Right, take the socket off. And it's called a speed brace for a reason. Demonstrate. There you go. I still use these a lot for assembling stuff.
Aid, shall I put the gearbox up on its end?
Yeah, put the gearbox up on its end. Oh, look at that. It now sits up on its end. Amazing. Right, so what you now need to do is we're going to take, because we're doing a full strip down, we're going to take this gear off. So we're going to do this now. So we need to take that circlip off the end.
Yep.
And then I'll show you how to get all the balls out. All right. So you can stick that on your vise. I'll show you how to do a couple, and I'll probably break it. But what you do is you just it's already broke. Look.
Yeah.
So actually, interestingly, that was very, very soft. So this is well worn out anyway. So it's not even worth saving. So what we're going to do, being as it's already broke, we're just going to break it off. Okay. Like so, because that's knackered. So now what we now need to do is take that circle off.
Yeah.
Right, I'll do this bit for you because I don't want the thing to ping across.
Put some specs on as well, shouldn't I?
Come on. That's better. There we go. Circlip off.
Get off without pinging.
I did. Now what we need to do is knock the tab flat. Okay.
Yep.
And then we'll use the large nut gun. All right. And before we use the nut gun, we'll lock the transmission.
Yep.
So that it won't rotate.
Yep.
Yeah. And these are things like this, is you can determine that it's been messed about with before, because you can see factory wouldn't do that. They have a little pinching gripper that grips them up nicely. That's been hammered back over, so we already know that somebody's been in this gearbox.
Yep.
bit mangled.
Yep. Somewhat.
Okay, so what we now need to do, lift it up and clear a few sheets out again, and then put it with the top of the gearbox facing here so we can see into it. And then we're going to lock it into 2 gears at the same time. That's it. So now what we need to do is get the selector, and we need to make sure that it's disengaged. Okay, so at the moment, if we can hear that, that's in reverse, so you need to pull it out of reverse, and if you look inside the gearbox, should be able to look in through there. Okay, you see in there?
Yep.
So move the selector. That's it, you see the gear coming out?
Yep.
Now if you look at the teeth, you'll see them, and you need to rotate that selector out of the way. Alright, so go all the way around to the left. Comes out, and then pull it back. Hard. So make sure all the all the dog teeth have come out completely.
You have.
Alright, let's have a look. No. No, they have. Pull it out. Right.
Oh.
Grab hold of that, pull it out. No, the outer bit.
That bit.
Yep.
Yep.
Right. So now that is completely out of the way. Alright, agreed?
Okay, yep, yep.
So now what you need to do is select first gear and fourth gear at the same time.
Okay, so first gear is push that one over.
Correct? Yep. Fourth gear
is that
over this way.
that way. Like that.
That's it. Gear set is now locked.
Big guns.
Make sure that fits properly. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Hold on to the gearbox. Make sure it's going the right way.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Sure. Just test it before you do it.
yep.
Sure.
That way.
Yeah. Good. Give it some. That was easy, wasn't it? Right. So, yeah. What we now need to do is just wind that back on a bit. No.
I'm not touching.
That's fine. No. Good. Right. Good. Now it's important when you take that off, you did it the way you did it. If you'd have kept your finger on, that would have come off, and it would have wound off so far that it would have bent the thread. All right.
Yep.
Because the nut would have come off, and it's also pushing that bearing off.
Yep.
Now at some point you run out of thread, and you're still pushing the bearing, right? And there's enough force on there to basically lean over the last thread. So when there's enough force to damage it basically. So what you did was right. So you just spin it off, but you don't spin it all the way off.
Yep.
All right. Now what you need to do: 2 tire levers, pull that bearing race off. What you basically do is that. Yeah. Just need to get that in the right place. Right. A little bit of tire lever. You could also use a bearing extractor if you want, but there's absolutely no need because that's junk anyway. So that's all right. Wind that off with your fingers and take the gear off. All right. Now, before you put that in there, chuck that in the tray. Before you put the gear in the tray, put the gear back on and see if there's any play in the splines. because I've seen these where they've been put on and they're loose and they're worn out. That one doesn't look too bad, so I'd say that hasn't been loose.
No.
Right,
I mean, there's
let's have a feel.
a tiny bit, but
No, that's standard. Yeah. If there was, we can have a look at it when we get it off. But if you saw shiny marks up the side and it was shiny on there, you can see it's worn out. But that hasn't worn. That's as it's meant to be.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll inspect that when we decide that we need to use that ratio or not. What we now need to do is to get rid of some more oil.
yep.
And then we need to untab this lot.
Yeah, on the inside, yeah.
So now we're going to untab this lot. Might want to pull that gasket out of the way. Just rip that bit of no, just rip that bit that's in the way. That's it. So knock that tab flat, and that tab flat, and then that tab flat. Nice. Okay, so now what you need to do is to put it back on the bench and then position yourself ready to get the large socket on the end of the big nut gun again, and we'll take that big nut off. So we're still locked in 2 gears.
Yep.
Take the socket off the end and replace it with the big one that's in the tray. That's it. Make sure it's fully engaged and then give it the full beans.
Same as last time,
Yeah,
just wind, but don't wind it
No,
all
you can
off.
wind it straight off this one.
Okay. Beast.
If you didn't have that nut run, then nut gun, I've got a 4-foot breaker bar which I use for getting them off. So yeah, they're easy to get off when you use the right tools, but don't mess around with a 2-foot breaker bar, because sometimes you'll be there for a long time. That's an 1898 Newton meter impact wrench, so you need something manly to get them off. So withdraw the pinion if it'll come off. All right, put that in the tray, and now take out the 3 horseshoe bolts. That's a 1/2 inch.
Just okay. Yep, that's right.
All right. Good. The lights make a big difference on the front of that, don't they?
They do. Really helpful.
Okay, so if you just turn the gearbox up, well, in fact, don't worry about that. But if you just push out that locating plate, that's the locating plate that locks the lay shaft to the reverse idler shaft. That's it. Pop that in the tray. Now, one of the things that people do with these is that can have burrs on it, and if you push that through, you see it goes tight.
Yeah, it'll
score or take a shiv of metal out. So what I like to do is just get a file.
So that's the lay shaft, isn't it?
Yeah, and just take the burrs off around that shaft. Can be a bit fiddly, but if you do that, you'll find it will come straight out.
Yeah, that
Pull it out.
went much easier, didn't it?
Right, what I'll do
It's alright, it's alright. Yeah, it's fine.
so I'll just give you another tool to help get it out if it's a problem.
I got it.
Got it out?
Yep.
Good. Alright, so have a quick look at the shaft and see if there's any damage on it. Not that we're probably going to reuse this one, but that's the small end where the wear would normally manifest itself. You can see there's quite a witness there. Not too bad, there's no pitting, but it's less of an imprint than that end. Alright, and that's because that end does a lot of work. In the tray. Now what I want you to do is turn the gearbox sideways on. Now, put 2 fingers down like that.
Yep.
Okay, and what I want you to do is to roll that gear up onto the top of here, bearing in mind that's going to want to fall out, and so's that one. Don't worry about that thrust washer falling out, but if you can hold that while it happens.
When you say hold it,
yeah, you'll see. Yeah,
roll
it right round to the top
and keep it.
Go on, right around to the top.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah,
and just lift it up.
And just lift it up and keep it flat because the bearings will drop out.
Yep.
Right, now you can put your hand under the end, right, and just pull the bearing out. All right,
yep.
In the tray, do the same with the other one. That end.
Yeah.
All right, and we can inspect that in a little while. Now, take out your thrust that end. All right. Now you can take out your reverse idler.
It's this one.
Yep. Just make sure that's still out of the way. So take the shaft out in the middle.
And hold on to it while I take it out.
That's it. Is it 1 bushing or 2?
Two. No,
Two.
no, 1.
1. Okay, that's right. But it's the wrong type. So someone's replaced this gear, right, and they've put the early type in without the spacer on. So it's had a problem, and they've replaced that with the wrong type of gear. This is how you get to know what's in your gearbox and who's worked on it before. All right. Should have a spacer on there.
Yeah.
Now what we want to do is we want to remove that circlip. So upend it, take your hammer and a punch and just knock that clip round until those 2 holes are at the bottom here.
Down here.
Yeah. It does 2 things. A, gets into the right place so we can work on it, and B, it lets us know the clip is actually loose. Okay?
Is that right?
Yep. Now, if someone's been sensible, which I believe they have,
Just nowhere else.
yeah. If you put that clip in the other way round, it's actually easy to get it out again because those holes are tapered.
Yeah.
So what I need you to do now, in fact, I'm going to do this. Because I don't want to pinch your hands, but this can be particularly difficult to get out. So you engage the tool, and then you got one like that that's stuck. So what we now need to do is hit that in there, move that again. So I've just done it by hand. See that? It's not coming out of its groove.
Yeah, it's only
so we need to move it round,
yeah,
and then squeeze it such that it comes out. All right. Now, if you haven't got the right shaped tool, you'll struggle because what will happen is as you squeeze that down, the end of those pliers will bend, and then it will fire that off.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important to have the right tool. So I've had to make one to do that, to make that reliable. So now what you want to do, put your gear back on the end with the nut and 2 tyre levers, and we'll just lift it out. That's it. Wind it on, put the nut all the way down, just do it finger tight is all we need to do. And then we need to get the tyre levers, one there, that's it. And what we're not going to do is damage the so what you might need to do is just move your gearbox around a little bit so you can get a better position. There you go. Right, and then just knock them down. Go. There you go. Done. Lift that out, and there's a bearing in there. Sometimes it sticks in the end of there.
Yeah, so there.
Okay.
Take that bearing out.
Yep. Take that one out. That's it. Chuck it in the tray. Now what you want to do, interestingly, don't put it in that tray.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Put it with the other. Put it with the gear.
Yeah.
Right. Because you won't confuse it with the one that come off of there. Then. Bolt ring.
Pick it out.
Yeah, pick it out. Screwdriver, whatever you want. It's loose. It's just it'll be stuck with a bit more.
Yeah.
Right, wonderful. We're nearly there.
Yeah,
So
we're getting there.
put the flat down on its base again. Okay. Now what we need to do is to knock the bearing out. There is a special tool for doing this. Guesswork sells one that goes in there. I'll never use one. All the selectors out of the way. I just use a tie lever. Now, just push that back, and then you can install your tie lever. Just give that a bit more. Like so. And what you don't want to do, so you create space, but what you don't want to do is make any of the selectors go get knocked across. So what we now need to do is to use a bronze punch, and I'll hammer, and I'll do this.
Yep.
So I don't want the bits all flying out. And hopefully we can knock this out without knocking the balls out of the synchro springs. And what I'm not doing is hitting it very hard. This is just a gentle tap. And now what we've got is the bearings out of the gearbox, but it's still on the end of the shaft. So a little bit more of a tap. There we go. Alright, let's have a quick look at the bearing. See if we've got a broken. No, that's still in one piece. Take that out. So actually your gear set's out now. So what I want you to do is put one hand in, okay, holding that end in and that end in.
Yeah.
Lift it out. See that shaft out through that. See that track in the case?
Yep.
It will come out through there. So rear end up first.
Yep.
Out. Hold it in front of the camera. 1/3 motion shaft with all the gears. Stick it in the tray. Now you can take out your oil pickup. The balls. Just turn it round. It will come out. There you go.
Well, the problem was, Aid.
It's always one. Right. So the last couple of bits we'll take out, but we're going to have some lunch first, and we'll do that afterwards. But we're nearly there. All right.
Nice.
One pub lunch later, and it's back into it.
Yep.
Push the rod through. You might need to give it a bit of a cussing assistance.
One off. Two off.
I'll get you a long extension for that one. Need a 9/16.
Thank you.
Make sure it's going the right way.
Yep.
Makes it so easy. I was actually going to say, when you lift that out, just lift the whole stack out in one go.
Yeah.
But being you're taking it out, fine. So, lift that up as well. Top up. Give it a twist and then lift while you twist it to break the seal of oil. Oh, you still got shut. You still got the reverse. You need to lift that off. Any luck?
Yep.
It's just stuck down with the oil, that's all. There we go. And then there's a top hat that's on there. Twist and pull.
I can get it to twist.
It's just stuck down. There you go. You got it. Right, so put them in your metal trays. Okay, so now turn the case round so this is facing you.
You like it now?
Yeah, and then we're going to warm the case around the bearing. All right, the idea with this is use the blowtorch not on the bearing, around the bearing. All right, and then we put that inside, use the mallet and just drift it out. But we warm the case first.
Send some action, Ed.
That's taken a few out, yeah. Right, so I'll warm it, all right, and then you can put that socket in and just knock it out, okay? So I'm just using a butane Challier torch just to warm the casing. So this is not about melt the case, this is about warming the case. Alright? We don't heat the bearing directly, we're just heating the aluminium. And the idea is to get that up to the point where it's about the temperature of boiling water. So you don't want it so hot that it burns you. You just want to bring that up enough to expand that housing such that the grip on the bearing is much less. The bearing will come out easily and the housing won't be marked by the bearing, so it won't damage it. If you knock these out, there is a chance, if you knock them out cold, there's a chance that you'll actually damage the housing where it can gall the housing on the way out, or it gets cocked in sideways and it scrapes its way out or puts digs in it. Right, so if you feel that now,
Yep.
you see what I mean? Temperature of hot water.
Yep.
Right, so I would just put that in like that. You hold the case as well.
Yep.
And put it up on its end if you like, and just knock it down once it come out. There she goes. Right, done. It'll be hot, so.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Now, give that a wipe and see. It should come out nice and clean.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, no damage?
Nope, no damage on that.
Lovely job. Okay, right, so take that out.
3/8 drive, that.
No, it's half inch.
inch.
For Christ's sake, make sure that's going the right way. Because there won't be a thread left if you get that the wrong way. And I would put that back down on the bench.
Yeah, so it can't twist and
Yep.
kill us.
All right. And make sure the socket fits nicely. That's it. That's it. Beautifully controlled. Well done. And that's a tip there, by the way, is you don't have to use full power every time you use the, you know, a nut gun, because you can do a lot of damage. So if you think it's going to be loose, you know, just do what
Kevin.
just do what Kevin did there, and you know, take it easy. All right, because you can do some damage, and we don't really want to damage it if at all possible. So gentle is the key, unless of course you need full power, and then obviously go for it. But on the sump plug, you definitely don't need full power.
Well, if you do, there's something wrong.
Yeah. It's either that or you need your head testing. Okay, so that's going to need to go for a clean up now. So what Kevin's going to do with this one is when he's at home, so he's going to take all this home today. He's not going to do it here. Just give this a good clean and inspection. So what I'm going to do now is just tell him where he needs to look. So obviously clean all the shit off it, all that.
That's the technical term, isn't
That's the technical term, shit. All that oil out the bottom, and then you need to inspect it. So check all the threads, so clean all the gaskets off, check all the threads, any cracks, let us know, and then if any damaged threads, mark them, and then we can replace the threads next time, all the way around. And we want to chase all those threads as well, so we'll put a tap through those as part of that process, again on all the way around. Obviously check sump plug threads as well to make sure that's not damaged. There's no point building a gearbox if the sump plug thread's damaged. Check round here for any cracks, any round there. Very unlikely to be. It's not somewhere that normally goes. However, here around the centre housing, quite often there's cracks around the threads where people have over tightened it and things like that. Sometimes the housing can crack as well. One of the reasons they omitted the 4 bolts that used to go in here is because they used to crack through the web, so they put extra metal in from the factory and took that bolt out to increase the strength. So check around there carefully. All right, run a file very gently around the faces to get any of the burrs off it. All right, and then obviously clean all the shit out of the threads. Yeah, all of those edges, and make sure there's no damage on the faces that are going to hold anything proud. Use a wire brush on there to take all the, you know, yeah, all the RTV off it. And obviously don't go too mad with the wire brush. You don't want to remove metal. You just want to remove the dirt that's on it. All right. Likewise with the diff case, do the same thing. Let me know if there's any cracks. All right. So that can go off to one side now. Okay. And then we can start thinking about looking at the components. Hope you enjoyed that one there. Kevin's got his gearbox case stripped and he's got his homework now, so he's going to take that home and clean it up and do some inspection, and then we'll look at the next episode when it comes along. It might be a little while, but stay tuned, and as ever, please like and subscribe and share, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.